Hello and welcome. The information within this video was written by a chartered surveyor and looks at the external part of Victorian property. It covers such things as walls, extensions, bay windows and sliding sash windows. The Victorian era was superior from a property point of view. This era is broken down into the early Victorian 1837 to 1850, mid-Victorian 1850 to 1870 and late Victorian 1870 to 1901. The Edwardian era is often combined with the Victorian era, when King Edward reigned from January 1901 to May 1910. In areas where stone was a popular building material, it remained the most commonly used during Victorian times. For example, limestone was widely used in Bath and the Cotswolds, granite in Cornwall and Devon, sandstone in Yorkshire and Derbyshire, and red sandstone in parts of Scotland, to name but a few. Stone building was common, particularly for the more prestigious buildings. It tended to be uncoursed and irregular, or semi-cut stone. Lime mortar with similar bedding techniques was used, and for prestigious buildings more finely cut stone was used, whereas in other areas local brick was used solely. This then changed rapidly with the railway network expansion in the 1840s, when materials could be transported around the country. Then materials like the London stock bricks, the red bricks of Bedfordshire and the blue bricks of Staffordshire were used. Brickwork, which was very popular in major cities such as Manchester, Birmingham, Leeds and London, is the solid wall construction of 9 inches thick approximately and laid onto a lime bed. In the early Victorian years there was some English bond construction, but predominantly Flemish bond, with some stretcher bond brickwork used in the latter part of the Victorian era. Throughout our survey reports we use sketches like these to explain things clearly. As the network of the train system spread throughout the country, we also started to have standard time known as railway time. The time and the weather affected the condition of the buildings. Many buildings built with lime mortar required repointing because of deterioration. In some cases this didn't happen, and other processes were used, such as painting the brickworks initially with lime wash and more recently with modern paints. We speculate that this work was carried out due to dampness in the property. As mentioned, most houses were of solid wall construction until the 1900s, with the exception of prestigious buildings. Legislation started to come into place, for example, the Public Health Act of 1875, which affected how buildings were built, although we have heard it said that many didn't adhere to the regulations during the Victorian era. In many cases, alterations to the original Victorian buildings have unfortunately encouraged dampness. There are various remedies to this, but you do need to understand the problem and carry out the work carefully. Your chartered surveyor can give you help and advice. Now let's talk about extensions. Many Victorian properties have been extended and amended over the years. One of the most common extensions is the rear extension, which is normally carried out in a modern brick, often utilising newer techniques, including cavity wall construction. In more recent times, extensions have also been insulated, as well as using harder bricks and stronger materials in the form of Portland cement mortar. You can sometimes get differential movement between the original building and the extensions and alterations. Next, we talk about windows. The word windows originates from the language of the Vikings. A window originally meant wind eye, an opening in a wall to let in light and air. There were developments in window design during the Victorian era, particularly with the widespread use of sliding sash windows and advances in glass production, which allowed for larger panels to be used. Many Victorian properties have features of bay windows. These allow natural light into the building, as we didn't have very good lighting back then. Bay windows were very much a feature in the more expensive houses. They can sometimes cause problems due to often being built without foundations. Unfortunately, also inappropriate repairs by underpinning, which is the adding of a concrete foundation, can cause as many problems as it solves. Our surveyors will check the bay windows to ensure there isn't any movement. Canted bay windows were also popular in Victorian homes. The word canted refers to the angled sides of the window projection as opposed to a square or curved shape. Victorians had windows from different eras, although many people think of the painted timber sliding sash window when you think of the Victorian era. The sliding sash was developed in the mid-1600s, and it is said they are originally from a Dutch or possibly French origin. The design was refined during the 17 and 1800s using a weighted pulley system, normally lead weights and thinner glazing bars. These windows are vertical sliding sash windows, and they are almost guillotine-like if the balance cord or weight falls. Also used in the early Victorian era were horizontal sliding windows, which didn't need counterweights and work using friction and can still be seen today. Both windows were originally formed in timber and as such need regular painting to preserve them. Today, plastic windows are purchased to minimise maintenance and can look very good. However, if the building is listed or in a conservation area, some permission has to be sought before you change the windows or even amend them. Victorian properties were generally well constructed for their time. However, due to their age, many have experienced deterioration, either from a lack of maintenance or from inappropriate repairs, which can often be costly to correct. If you would like to have a chat about Victorian property, please free phone 0800 298 5424 or email help@firstassociated.co.uk. Thank you.